Welcome back, guys. Once again, happy Friday to you all. It is Friday, finally Friday, rodeo weekend Friday here in Clovis, California. I might have to just sneak off and go shoot some pool tonight. That's what I'm thinking. I love rodeo weekend here in Clovis. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you could, hit that like button on the way in. If you could, share it on the way out, or share it before you go out if you have to leave. Want to say thank you again for you guys tuning in. So if you guys missed the first show, we are working on still discussing what happened this morning when a judge who was aiding and abetting, that's what I want to call it. They call it obstruction. If that was me or you, we would be accomplices. We're going to talk about more of that, some more of the commentary, some more of the manufactured outrage from the Democrats that don't know the entire story. We're going to talk about all that. So let me jump into the comments really quick. We got Susan Spencer in here. Cade, Texas, how are you? KLM79 says, hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Hunter from the Netherlands. Who else is down here? Micro Taz is back, finishing off that work day, huh? And then we got, who else? Old Uncle Bill, Texas Bigfoot, Rob Wallace, Sugar Bear, and Nola's entering the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. And we're going to get into it. But first, I'm going to play this at the end, too. But I told you guys, we got challenged in Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm going to show you this right here.
Parker Stig.
Oh, my gosh.
Who else? Who else am I? All right. So I guess it's my turn. By the way, Trump is your president. Yes, he is. It's my turn. And then it's going to be Mama's. And then Olivia. And Chloe's going to laugh the whole time.
I am going to enjoy this.
All right.
Very
So
much.
again.
You can't be close to the spider.
It's fine. Olivia.
That's okay. So I nominate, again, Will Johnson, Oscar Ramirez, Anthony Agredo. I nominate, again, Will Johnson.
I don't know why it's skipping there.
Oscar Ramirez, Anthony Agredo, Tyho Decker, Parker Sig.
Oh my gosh.
Who else?
Gonna hate you.
Who else am I?
Fire you.
And everyone at Real America's Voice News who has the nerve, the guts to do it. You guys are all nominated. All right. Chloe, who's filming?
And Katie nominated you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Katie nominated me yesterday. Chloe nominated me too, so I got double nominated. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Can you get it above my head? You could just do my lap.
You notice that water is steaming hot?
I might have to catch something.
Hold your hand underneath this part.
You've been working out.
Underneath the rim, Mom. I want this entire thing.
I should just push it over. I should just push it over.
Right here.
We might do Yes.
That one wasn't even as cold as mine was. That was like not even that cold.
Do you feel good?
I
Refreshing.
Come check.
Yes. Is that the cool move when you shake your arms and your legs at the same time? All right.
So that was Ben throwing out a little call out, and you know what? We had to do it. We had to do it. So in between the shows right now, let me give you a little quick take. Okay, guys. Well, I got challenged. Our good friend Benito Pancho Benny, Ben Berquam, challenged us to an ice bucket challenge. So we're going to do that here. If you watch Ben's video, the water was steaming. There was no ice. So I'm going to ensure that's not how we do it here. And then we'll call out somebody been called out like everybody under the sun. But I'm going to say Hernando, our patriot friend from Texas. I'll tag you in this. And we love ice, guys. More ice, please. So, and this shameless plug, you can find this shirt on theoreoexpress.com/shop. Are you going to get over here and help me, bud? All right, so we got even extra ice, because more ice. And then you guys can go ahead and dump this over. You ready? You ready to dump it on me? And again, Hernando, you're next. I don't know why Will Johnson hasn't done this yet, but there'll actually be ice on the ground for my video. I didn't see any ice on the ground for Ben's. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
3.
Oh, look at ice. Actual ice, Ben. So, Hernando, you're up next. And again, we love ice. More ice, please. Thank you. So it's official. It's done and over with. It's done and over with. Well, Caden wants to do it, so we're gonna do another one for Caden here. I was in a hurry to get the show done, and I was soaking wet. So, but let's get into the show. Let's get into this show. Listen to these people. I just want to show you, and if you guys missed the first show, lot of information on the activist judge. We covered it pretty much in a lot of details, her history. And if you guys don't know the story, we'll get into it a little bit more here in a second. But pretty much judges harboring illegal aliens, working against federal law enforcement. So I just want to say, what would happen to you if somebody was wanted by the feds and you helped them escape? You'd be an accomplice. You would get charged for that. Well, that's what this judge did. And Democrats are now saying judges are above the law. Imagine that. Let's take a look at what this person says. The Trump administration is now arresting sitting judges who challenge their policies. This is what the Democrats' narrative they're pushing today. Nobody are worried about policies. We're worried about laws. We're worried about aiding and abetting. We're worried about obstruction. Those are all laws. And again, a lot of people get arrested and charged with things and never convicted, right? You have your day in court. And that's what we're going to see here. But I'm looking at a lot of these people, these Dems that don't know the story. And what are they saying? They're saying, oh, well, this is tyrannical. This is a king. Look at this one. Senator Ruben Gallego. Now, Senator Ruben Gallego out of Arizona has connections to the cartel. And what's amazing is we spent a lot of time in Arizona. We showed you the cartel bridge that everybody knew about in Arizona that was allowing people to get over, a man-made little bridge. We showed it to you. He had no problem with that. We spent a lot of time in Arizona, Yuma, and other places. Sassabee, Arizona, where we were showing you these NGO groups, the No More Death Camps, all these people that were just flooding illegals into your country. They were human trafficking. He's decided to say the Trump administration just arrested a sitting judge. This is what happens in authoritarian countries. Stand up now or lose the power to do so later. This administration must drop all charges and respect separation of powers. So are you telling me when we have corrupt judges, that's okay? That's what we're reading here from the Democrats. I mean, it's quite obvious what we're seeing here. Again, we are seeing a lot of lawfare. We are seeing a lot of judges that are activist judges that hopefully will lose their seats. The ones that are literally being utilized to slow down the Trump administration and their progress on fixing the mess that Democrats have gotten us in. How about this one? This is interesting. Statement from Governor Pritzker. Yeah, he is a Pritz. Arresting a sitting state judge in his alarming escalation of Donald Trump's war on the courts. Shortly after, Attorney General Pam Bondi went on Fox News to brag about it and confirm this authoritarian administration is going to keep persecuting and prosecuting sitting judges. Now, I don't know about you, but I definitely voted for these judges that are breaking the laws, that are aiding and abetting, and that are obstructing our federal government from making our community safer. I voted for them. I voted for this. But again, they're trying to twist the words. We do not have kings in America. We do not accept propaganda as fact, and we do not let authoritarian federal overreach hold us back from speaking up for justice. America was built on a system of checks and balances where different parts of our government have the duty to hold power of the others to account. It says today is a reminder for the judiciary, Congress, and states to do our part in holding Trump and his lackeys accountable, while we must closely follow the emerging facts and details of this case. They have no facts and details of the case, but they're out there spitting this. It said, there is no question today is an extremely unusual and concerning step in Trump's attack against the rule of law. This is Trump is the president now, but in between his two terms, he literally had his home raided by the FBI because of political persecution. He literally had multiple charges against him. Why? Because they didn't want him to run. They didn't want you to vote for him. All that was okay. America knows that. That's why America voted for him. This isn't going to work. They're going to try to get this to stick. All this does is rile up their base. That's it. Take a listen to this.
Deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow. You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member, So he comes through Eagle Pass, December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuela.
So, needless to say, again, we have when they said there's different branches of the government, our judicial branches is literally a coup against this country, a coup against, I mean, these people took an oath to uphold the law, not to work against law enforcement. And you see what they're doing. Tom Homan put this out. Nobody should be surprised by the arrest of 2 judges. I have said many times within the past few months that people can choose to support illegal immigration and not assist ICE in removing criminal illegal aliens from our communities, but don't cross that line. If you actively impede our enforcement efforts, or if you knowingly harbor or conceal illegal aliens from ICE, you will be prosecuted. These actions are felonies. More to come. I like that more to come spot. There's probably is some people out there that are a little bit worried right now. There's probably other judges that are packing bags for some of the gang members saying, you got to go. You got to go. Check out Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna had to do a video. Listen to this.
Historical precedent. This morning, the Trump administration's FBI, headed by Kash Patel, arrested a Wisconsin judge for simply standing up for the rights of immigrants. This is without any historical precedent and truly terrifying. Every American, every person who cares about the rule of law and freedom needs to stand up and speak out. We need to demand the release of this judge and have due process and the rule of law.
That's exactly what happens in this country, and that's exactly what happened. There was due process. She's seen a judge, she was released, and now she'll go to trial. She was charged with 2 felonies. But he said this is like, what do you say? Hold on. Listen this.
Precedent and truly terrifying immigrants. This is without any historical precedent.
Okay, this is without any historical precedent. Well, we're going to show you even CNN would disagree with Ro Khanna. We'll get into that in a minute. So this is the person that this judge was protecting. This is the illegal alien that the Wisconsin judge was shielding, has a violent criminal record with charges including strangulation, suffocation, battery, and domestic abuse. He's came into the country twice. He's already been previously deported. He came in the country illegally twice. This is where Democrats, again, guys, please show me one time that Democrats fought this hard for an American citizen. When you see them taking these flights over to El Salvador to have margaritas with MS-13 gang members, you know, the Maryland dad. This is beyond anything we've seen in this country. Here is, we're not going to play it all. This is the Democrat mayor of Milwaukee, and listen to what he says.
Of course, and in the process of doing this, the defendant is ordered. There'll be a court appearance. That didn't happen in this case. I think what happened here was just showboating. They're just trying to have this show of force. And in the process of doing this in a courthouse where people need to go for court proceedings, they're scaring people away from participating in the process. So if they are witness to a crime or something of the sort, they're not going to go and participate. And that makes our community less safe.
So the issue is with how the arrest happened, not necessarily that there was an investigation.
Again, I don't know all the things that happened there, but I'm saying that the way that they went about this in this ham-handed, haphazard way that this administration has been doing since day one, it's driving people away or has potential to drive people away from participating in court proceedings, which makes our community less safe. I want people to go to court. I want people to have their day in court. I want people to hold folks accountable in our judicial system, but the actions of this administration are driving people away from doing that, and that's not good for public.
You know what? If you're here illegally, you should be scared. If I entered a country illegally, I would be a little bit worried that I could be arrested and deported. That's just kind of the way nations have worked for quite a while. While this was going on, guys, we didn't have this to cover earlier. Protesters gathered outside the federal courthouse in Milwaukee. Now, these are all the nonprofits. They hear what's going on. Again, with all the work that this federal judge that was arrested today has done with open border advocacy groups, including Catholic charities, it was no surprise that they had this outside. Take a listen.
No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice.
Let me refresh that. This one's getting caught up there. This is just hilarious. No justice, no peace. Well, we are trying to provide justice.
No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice. No peace. Judge Dugan will be free. No justice.
Did you know people get arrested and charged and put in jail all the time for being an accomplice to something? If you're a getaway driver in a robbery, a murder, or anything like that, it's against the law. If you're aiding and abetting, if you're, again, obstructing the police department from doing an investigation, arresting somebody. Yep, you know it, and I know it. Now listen, is it this one? Look at this. Look at how Amy Klobuchar had to phrase her tweet. This is not normal. The administration arrest of a sitting judge in the Wisconsin is a drastic move that threatens the rule of law. And then she says, while we don't have all the details, this is a grave step and undermines our system of checks and balances. You don't have the details, but you're out there tweeting. You even put in the tweet, you don't have the details. Do you get it? They just want to rile up their base because it's not working with your average American. Your average American wants corrupt judges arrested. They want to see finally. This was a statement from the attorney of Hannah Dugan. It says, Judge Hannah C. Dugan has committed herself to the rule of law and the principles of due process for her entire career as a lawyer and a judge. Judge Dugan will defend herself vigorously and looks forward to being exonerated. I can promise you now, the left, because these NGOs and everything that she's done for open borders, you want to talk about getting great representation and a lot of donations and a lot of fundraising. Just wait and see how this plays out. And mark my words, we'll be covering it on another live stream. Here was another, this is Pam Bondi on ABC News. We played Fox earlier. Listen to this.
All right. As you lay out the facts of the case, as you can imagine, people are now responding. Bear with me here. We just got this full statement from the lawyer representing Judge Hannah Dugan saying that she has committed herself to the rule of law and the principles of due process for her entire career as a lawyer and a judge. She has retained former United States Attorney Stephen Biskupik to represent her. Judge Dugan will defend herself vigorously and looks forward to being exonerated. Okay, quick reaction to that. But what I really want to get to is also the governor is speaking out, as well as a Democratic Congresswoman, Gwen Moore, because you can imagine the other side of politics responding to this. But first, your response to the attorney representing Dugan.
Well, everyone is entitled to their day in court. Judges, criminal defendants, victims, and those victims were entitled to their day in court, and they didn't get it because she let a criminal defendant walk out a door. She helped them. She obstructed justice. And that's what she's charged with.
Okay, this statement now coming from Democratic Congresswoman Gwen Moore, who represents Milwaukee. As you know, she said of Judge Dugan's arrest that the administration's willingness to weaponize federal law enforcement is shocking and that she is alarmed at the increasingly lawless actions of the Trump administration.
Well, we'll let this play out in court, and I hope she reaches out to the victims of domestic violence who were in that courtroom that day, and the state prosecutor who sat there all day long in Milwaukee, or all morning, waiting on this case to be heard.
I love it. I love it. Again, just showing the facts, the truth. Now, listen to this. Remember, this is unprecedented. We don't have anything like this historical. Listen to some of this.
Resembles it is one in which the judge took actual.
This is CNN, by the way.
This is her courtroom, Boris, and she's in control of her courtroom. We've never had a case like this. The only one that resembles it is one in which the judge took actual steps to deceive and prevent ICE from coming in. She handled it and said, look, if you want to make an arrest, don't do it in my courtroom. Don't exploit it. You can do it on the street. There's no principle that says she has to somehow aid them in their facilitation of the arrest of this man. I think I agree. It's a real escalation, but I think it's hyperbolic at best to say she was harboring a fugitive. She was saying, not in my courtroom. And I think this is not just an aggressive, but probably an over-aggressive move by the Bureau. My best guess is that this case is going to collapse because you need to have corrupt intent. It's not just enough to not want him to be arrested. You need to have corrupt intent under federal law. And it's one thing if you do positive steps to deceive, but simply to say, well, you're in my courtroom, you can exit here, enter here, and he's still arrested. I don't think they're going to be able to show it. And in any event, it is an extremely aggressive move against.
So you see how he tried to spin it, but there's another one I want to show you. I thought it was actually that one. Let me see. That one will be coming up. Let me move this over. Again, I just don't get this. This is no difference between me having a court date and them issuing a warrant or an arrest warrant for me and going to the courts while I'm being heard from another court case and the judge putting all that on hold to escort me through a jury room so I'm not arrested. This is ridiculous, and I hope there are more arrests coming. Listen
2019 during the first Trump administration.
So, listen.
One of the things that I think should really be highlighted here is not, I mean, the case against the judge, it's unusual, but it's not unprecedented. There has been a case like this before in 2019 during the first Trump administration, charging a judge in Massachusetts who was accused of something very similar, trying to usher someone out of that courtroom as ICE officials were waiting for that defendant. In that case, that ended up being resolved. Those charges were dropped in the Biden administration against that judge in Massachusetts, but she ended up cutting a deal. So it was a legitimate case there as well. One of the things that I think should really be highlighted here is not, I mean, the case against the judge, it's unusual, but it's not unprecedented.
It's unusual, but it's not unprecedented. I remember that case. And once again, the Biden administration, who was on the side of the judge, obviously, because they wanted the illegals in this country, still cut a deal. They didn't drop the charges. They cut a deal with this judge. So to think that this is, oh my God, this has never happened before. This is so unprecedented. This was interesting too. Amy Klobuchar said, you know, in her tweet, this is not normal. The administration's arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin is a drastic move that threatens rule of law. And Mike Benz tweeted out, you arrested a U.S. president, his lawyers, his accountants, and even his valet. But judges are above the law, Amy? Ooh, man. Kind of crazy, huh? Kind of crazy to think about all this. Was that the same one? Hold on, let me see if this was another one, I think.
Strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up looking at the complaint. Let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If they can prove what happened here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction.
Textbook obstruction. That's on CNN, guys. That's on CNN. How about this? How about the victims of illegal alien crime? How about the thousands and thousands that have been murdered, the hundreds of thousands of deaths because of the fentanyl? That's what these judges are doing, is pissing on the families of these people. Listen to this.
And put them out the back. I am really, happy how the current administration is handling things. Nobody should be able to destroy evidence and put them out the back door. Why are they protecting them? Why are they so, concerned with protecting them and showing them all these special privileges? And they should not be allowed to do that. They should be prosecuted.
That's the mother of Kayla Hamilton. Again, that's an angel mom right there. She lost her daughter because of Democrat policies. It's just bad. And listen to this. We've talked about this. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. This is Albany Schools Board of Education member Vicki Smith had activists come to the school and show students how to evade ICE. You can't make this up. Listen.
Yesterday, I did have the.
Hold on. Let's open up.
Yesterday, I did have the experience and privilege of being at the high school with the International Club, where the director of operations from RISE was doing a presentation with students there. And so it was fascinating because those little cards, red cards, I don't think many of the students have had that education of what to do if ICE approaches or, whatever the situation might be. And so they were like this and asking questions. And we even did, a demonstration of, a knock at the door and how to respond. So it was very engaging. I think it was maybe about 20, 25 students. And only 2 were from this country originally. That's
25 students, only 2 were from this country, and they're teaching them how to evade ICE. This is your tax dollars. This is a public school. This is what we're talking about. The things we need to teach people to abide by the law, not how to avoid the law. But this is what Democrats stand for. We continue to see it time and time again. This is the party that says nobody's above the law. I'm actually wearing my wanted shirt now. Wanted for president once again in 2028. How about that? Trigger the libs. Now, we covered this earlier. I just wanted, because there was a remark now. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ended all the service of all the committee members for the DOD advisory, which included a seat held by Susan Rice. And it says Hegseth thanked the members for their work, but said changes are needed to align with the department's new goals and to use resources more effectively. So Susan Rice wasn't too happy. And look at this. Watch this. She goes on some podcast. This should be embarrassing for her. And listen to what Susan Rice said.
A white male Christian cisgender macho MAGA man, you can be as dumb as a rock and be deemed qualified to serve as Secretary of Defense. That's apparently what we've learned from this episode. But let's also be clear. There's a serious point here. DEI has been used as a slur to suggest that anybody who might be a woman, might be a person of color, might be a religious minority, might have a disability, might be a religious minority, might be a veteran or of Native descent, anybody who has benefited in any way, shape, or form from the notion that we all should be treated equally and that we should be viewed on the basis of our merits and not discounted because we happen to be a woman or happen to be a person of color.
That's exactly what getting rid of DEI does. Merit. We're not going to look at your application to see what color you are or what you do in your bedroom. We're going to see what your qualifications are, what your test scores are, if it's college, anything else. But what we've noticed over the last 15 to 20 years, what we've done is said, oh, no. Let's take this person out and we'll put this person in. This person might be more deserving, but you know what? That person's not dark enough. And I listen to what she says at the beginning. This is hilarious.
If you're a white male Christian cisgender macho.
If you're a white male Christian cisgender macho MAGA man. Someone's a little ticked off. Someone's a little ticked off. Great job, Pete Hegseth. Great job, Trump administration, for getting the trash out. Now, I seen this news article and I wanted to cover this, and it's just kind of funny because I seen another news article like a few minutes later. Trump's tariff will hurt lower incomes Americans more than the rich, a study says. Well, it depends how you look at that study. Now, if you're buying all your stuff from China and you're on, I don't know what those apps are called, Shein or whatever, you go online and you order something and 3.5 weeks later it comes in because it was shipped from China, your prices are probably going up a little. And with any increase, with any price increase, we do see what? Yeah, lower income Americans, like the gas. Our gas is $2.25 more a gallon here in California than other states. Doesn't hurt the rich. Hurts the middle class, hurts the lower income people. It hurts the working class, right? But they're trying to twist people because there was a new poll that came out that said, and this is the way the poll read, do you think you will be financially better off in a year? We don't know. But after thousands of hours of negative programming on your local news, it was like 58% of people thought they would be negatively affected financially in the next year, in a year from now. They have nothing, no data. Again, they're trying to push this out there. And then I see this one right here, and I just love it. Biotech company Amgen just announced it's investing more than $1 billion to expand manufacturing in Ohio, adding hundreds of new jobs. So if you're in Ohio, these tariffs are actually helping you out if you want a job. What Democrats fear is having all these overwhelming manufacturers, the manufacturing overwhelming, having places where you can go work and less people on the government tit. They want you on SNAP. They want you on government assistance. That's the only way they can control you. Take a listen.
Of investment today, and we expect at Amgen, we love a day when we're able to announce that we're expanding our capability. So we're a world leader in biologics manufacturing, and we're excited to be advancing that in Columbus, Ohio.
How many jobs, construction versus permanent, will this part add?
Well, we're adding about $1 billion of investment today, and we expect to hire permanently another few hundred staff as a result of this expansion. So we'll have about $1.5 billion invested in Columbus and about 750 people working in our biomanufacturing there.
Couple hundred new jobs added, folks. That helps out the economy. That, again, putting jobs in American workers' hands is what we need to do. And I just think it's so funny, again, and we talked about it, certain prices will go up. Things that you buy from countries that have a tariff, and not the 10% tariff that we have as a general rule of thumb, that won't be doing anything. That won't be doing anything. The China one, yeah, your Chinese product. Made in China. They're already, and again, it's affecting China's economy. They're shutting down manufacturers. It's hurting China, which is exactly kind of what you want to do because China doesn't want to come to the field and play. If you want to come to the field and discuss and negotiate, great. We don't need all the products we buy here in the United States made overseas. It'd be better, and I heard Apple is doing this. They're taking their assembly to the iPhone, I think it was, and they're going to move it from China to India. Well, if we have a great deal with India and India agrees to do things without putting these barriers on us to do business there, that's great. That's a loss for China. That's what we want. The biggest single threat to the United States right now, other than Democrats, is China. Just crazy. What else do we got going on? Check this one. This was from the Oversight Project. I think this was interesting. So the Biden, back in June of 2024, that would be what some call Pride Month. They had a little White House, a little round table. They partnered with GLAAD and the ADL in an LGBTQI+ briefing to track extremists. and they were tracking people like libs of TikTok. And so I want to show you this stuff. This is a White House briefing from that date, June 26, 11 a.m. to 1. Listen to who was in there. Say Curtis Reed, Chief of Staff, National Security Council, combating the surge in violence against the LGBTQI individuals and community spaces, specifically violence linked to hate groups and domestic violent extremists. Remember when we were told for the longest time, when we had a corrupt government, that white people were the biggest threat, white males were the Christian males were the biggest threat to this country? It said, internal note, GLAAD has a partnership with the ADL tracking extremism and hate against the LGBTQ plus people. Nationally, their list includes attacks from the following groups: Goyim Defense League, Gays Against Groomers, Active Club Network, Proud Boys, Order of the Black Sun, American National Socialist White Workers Party, Blood Tribe, Patriot Front, and Libs of TikTok. That's just amazing. Like, Libs of TikTok literally takes what they say and reposts it. You put something stupid on TikTok, Libs of TikTok goes out there and exposes it. That's what the left was going after, were people's free speech. That's what they call hate speech. Just like when we were in Redlands earlier this week, and when people said boys should not be in girls' sports, they held up a little sign that said, this is hate speech. This is the things that the past administration was doing, and now they are dead, and they're going to stay dead. Listen to this one right here. The left is constantly putting out these things right now. They're pushing their paid influencers on different social media platforms to say that MAGA is turning their backs on Trump. Actually, especially after today and the rest of 2 judges in 24 hours, I couldn't be more excited. Charge me $9 a gallon for milk. I'm okay with that right now, as long as we're getting these corrupt, tyrant judges and everybody else to be held accountable. Listen to this. This was on CNN.
Only on the tariffs.
Who they hates, whether it's academics or foreigners or liberals or unions or gay people, whoever you need this week. And then when he doesn't hate them the next week, he doesn't hate them.
Well, he's very popular with the unions right now. Both Sean O'Brien of the Teamsters and Sean Fain of the UAW are solidly in his corner over the tariffs. So that's just not true at all.
Only on the tariffs.
On immigration, he completely secured the southern border, right? Lowest record on record number of illegal people crossing the border. On foreign policy, he's getting Europe to pony for NATO. On China, he is taking on the radical fleecing of the American working class by China. There are massive achievements from these first 100 days. And I hate to break it to you guys, but the base is thrilled. Yes, there are problems with the tariffs. We're in a difficult period because we have a course correction that we all agree we had to make.
All right, we're going to hit pause.
Oh, man, she schools them. And that's exactly, I couldn't agree more with that. The folks that voted for him, I went to last night after my show, I had to run down and grab some hot dog buns because we had hot dogs last night. And as I'm walking out, I see this Hispanic guy with his wife. She has something patriotic on, and he had a jacket or a jersey I hadn't seen before, and I liked it. It was blue and it had gray MAGA in cursive on it. And I was like, man, love the jersey. He goes, man, thanks, bro. He's doing an excellent job, isn't he? And that's the sentiment. I'm driving around. I'm wearing this stuff. I'm talking to people, and I haven't heard anybody yet say, you know what, I voted for him and I regret it. Again, there might be some hills to climb, some speed bumps to go over, but that's what happens when, like she said, you have to correct course. Check this out. I don't know who's going to fly around for this one, but man arrested for murder of woman now has an immigration detainer hold. Imagine that. It says Gwinnett County, Georgia. In January, Kurt Sebastian Oman Torres was arrested for murder for the stabbing death of Ana Karen Ramos Hernandez in what is called a domestic-related homicide, another illegal alien, and another murder to report of an American citizen. This was excellent, too, as we're talking about the border. We're talking about these corrupt judges. We're talking about the harboring, the obstruction. Pete Hegseth was at our southern border today. Take a look at this.
Customs and Border Patrol. If you are an illegal crossing, you will be monitored. You will be detained by U.S. troops. You will be detained temporarily and handed over to Customs and Border Patrol. If you have cut through a fence or jumped over a fence, that's destruction of government property. If you have attempted to evade, that's evading law enforcement, just like you would any other military base. You add up the charges of what you can be charged with, misdemeanors and felonies, you could be looking up to 10 years in prison when prosecuted. And by the way, I had a chance to meet the U.S. Attorney for New Mexico. He can't wait to prosecute the first group of people or individual that attempts to enter and traffic through the national defense area.
So remember, we covered this last week that they signed that order where now our southern border is a national defense area. We have our military all over that area. It's just like going, if I was to jump a fence onto a military base, it's no different. Smart move by the administration. Take a look at this. This is pretty cool too. I need to get out there, see if they'll give me permission. So, and then we have one more from out there today. Let's see what that one is. This is from DOD Response, Rapid Response. If you cross the border, you are crossing into a national defense area. You will be arrested and charged to the fullest extent of the law. And that's Pete Hegseth holding up the sign right there. We're going to have some epic times ahead. We're actually putting Americans first. And again, if you guys missed it, because some of you lag and you don't get in here forever, you guys are laggers. We accepted Ben's ice bucket challenge. I'm going to show you Ben again.
Turn. By the way, Trump is your president. Yes, he is. It's my turn, and then it's going to be Mama's, and then Olivia, and Chloe's going to laugh the whole time.
I am going to enjoy this.
All right, so
much.
again,
you can't be close to the spider. It's fine. Olivia.
It's okay. So I nominate again Will Johnson, Josh Wolfer, Oscar Ramirez, Anthony Agredo, Tyho Decker, Parker Sig.
So he does the ice bucket challenge, and so today we accepted that challenge. Let me pull it up. Okay, guys. Well, I got challenged. Our good friend Benito Pancho Ben Berquam challenged us to an ice bucket challenge. So we're going to do that here. If you watch Ben's video, the water was steaming. There was no ice. So I'm going to here. And then we'll call out somebody. Ben called out like everybody under the sun. But I'm going to say Hernando, our Patriot friend from Texas. I'll tag you in this. And we love ice, guys. More ice, please. So, and this shameless plug, you can find this shirt on theoreoexpress.com/shop. Are you going to get over here and help me, bud? All right, so we got even extra ice, because more ice. And then you guys can go ahead and dump this over. You ready? You ready to dump it on me? And again, Hernando, you're next. I don't know why Will Johnson hasn't done this yet, but there'll actually be ice on the ground for my video. I didn't see any ice on the ground for Ben's. Okay, go for it. 1, 2, for it.
3.
Oh, look at ice. Actual ice, Ben. So, Hernando, you're up next. And again, we love ice. More ice, please. Thank you.
We got that all wet.
We got Dad all wet. Yeah, Caden was super stoked. As soon as he heard about it, for like 45 minutes, I'm trying to get the show prepped and doing things. Dad, what bucket we going to use? We going to use my bucket? Can I pour water on you? So I'm going to do Caden. Caden's going to do one, and we'll share that out too. He wants to do it. So I want to say thank you for all you guys tuning in. We're going to be around tonight if there's any other breaking news, like any judges, are going over to Mexico and transporting people here illegally. I'm sure that's happened. We just don't know about it yet. But I want to say thank you for all you guys tuning in. If you want to help support the show, we really need it right now. There's a possibility, and I don't have a whole lot of shows this week. I don't have any shows planned this weekend unless something happens. But Monday evening, HaHa sent me this, and I'd love to have the money to go. Let's see. This one could get exciting. Where was it? Surf City T meeting Monday. It says vote no on Measure A and B rally. There's some stuff going on anyways next week. I won't get into all the details, but there's stuff going on next week, and we would love to go there. We do have something planned. I think it's Tuesday, right? Isn't that when Chloe Cole is coming to Fresno State? So that might get a little bit interesting. But if you guys want to help us out, we appreciate it. Venmo at Oreo Josh. Cash App, $ Oreo Army. We have, as always, our Gifts and Go, which is giftsandgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then our Zelle link, if you do banking transfers from your app, our Zelle link is on our website, theoreoexpress.com. And there's a donate now button on there. There's also that great More Ice Please shirt. You can go check out our website. We would appreciate it. And again, want to say thank you. You guys have a blessed weekend. Again, we might see you. I might do a premium because I got to get through the premium pretty quick. It's already the 25th, and I got like 3.5 more hours to do on the premium. Thank you for everybody for watching our premium show last night. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys supporting Rumble. If it wasn't for Rumble, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So God bless you all. We'll see you soon, and stay out of trouble, huh? If you're in the Central Valley, go check out the Clovis Parade tomorrow and the rodeo. Should be good times. God bless.